Hi, I'm Dr. David Purves. Do you think it's a rule of nature that as you get older, you have to get wiser? Well, you might think it is, but I'm not so sure. I think there are many areas in our life where we just get older and we don't get wiser. If you feel stuck in a particular area in your life, if you find that the same problems come around again and again and again and they never change, or if there's a domain, an area in life where things aren't progressing quite the way that you'd like them to progress, then stay tuned and I'll try and explain the mechanism by which we get older but we don't get wiser. Hi, so let me explain the mechanism by which we can get older but not wiser. And I've represented this as the life train. And this is the life train on the tracks of life. And the life train progresses to its final destination that we won't talk about. But as you proceed through life, you gain wisdom. So this is the carriage that the life train is pulling behind it, wisdom. And I'm talking about wisdom as the acquisition of knowledge, skills, practice and learning. Basically, you learn about things and therefore you gain more utility in working with them and more knowledge and experience in resolving them. Now, under normal circumstances, the life train chugs along and we continue to learn, thereby we continue to acquire wisdom. It is possible, however, for the life train to be blocked in some circumstances. And here I've got 4 blocks. The first one is a fear of criticism. The second one is a fear of rejection. The third one is a fear of conflict. And the fourth one I've got here is a fear of feeling unworthy. Now we could also put in there a fear of feeling unloved, a fear of feeling unfairly oppressed. You know, there are a number of other blocks that we could put there, and you could potentially put your own there. But these are 4 that I commonly see in clinical practice. Now, if your life train is blocked, what happens? Well, if the life train can't proceed because it's got a block, such as the fear of criticism, that means that you're not going to learn anything more about managing the fear of criticism, or about criticism, or about your response to it. Now, this is the interesting thing. Life gives you the same problems time and time and time again. And there are 2 ways that that can go. If your life train is blocked and so you've stopped learning anything about your fear of criticism or about the role that the criticism plays, then your life is going to give you the same problem time and time again, and it's always going to be the same, more or less. So every time the problem of fear of criticism comes round, or you think you're going to be criticized, or something happens where there's a potential for someone to critique something that you've done, the first time you experience that problem is going to be just the same as the 10th time you experience that problem, because you have learned nothing additional about criticism, the fear of criticism, and your response to it, and how you might potentially respond to it. So when your life train is blocked, you simply get older, you don't get wiser about criticism. An alternative is this. Again, your life continues to offer you the same problem time and time again, but it looks like this. So the first time you have the problem, it might not be very nice, but the 8th time or the 10th time you have the problem, it's much less of a problem. It's much more diminished, it's much more manageable. It's a different problem because you have traveled along the life train. You're different. You've acquired knowledge and skills, experience and expertise. The first time you're relatively naive, but the 8th and the 10th time you're experienced, the problem is not nearly so great. So when we allow our life train to be blocked by one of these barriers, or one that you could put in for your own life, we stop acquiring wisdom. We get older, but we don't get wiser, and therefore we never learn anything else. The secret, of course, is to continue to learn, to allow yourself to acquire learning, not to avoid a situation where you fear criticism, rejection, conflict, or feeling unworthy, or a number of others, but to actually engage with the process of driving through that block, of learning, and thereby reducing the impact that that problem has on you over time. So, we're basically saying that if you continue to learn in all of the domains that you engage in your life, then you will get older and you will get wiser. If you block an area, such as, oh, I can't be criticized, or I fear rejection, or I fear conflict, if you block an area and you avoid it, you're not going to learn anything new about it, but your life is going to continue to give you the same problem time and time again, and then you're just going to get older, but you're not going to get any wiser. So I hope you found this information interesting and potentially useful. I'm Dr. David Purves. Thanks for taking the time to watch and listen.